Tell me your story.
I was this close to dying from a brain abscess that was misdiagnosed.
Good to know people care, though.
For a lot of people, the MRIs are clear.
You said you had a lot to tell.
Oh, yeah.
Someone said,
I thought it was normal to have like seizures by yourself all the time.
You definitely will feel guilt a lot.
I so appreciate you putting this together.
thank you.
What is your most prized possession?
My life. Oh,
Perfect answer.
like material possession.
Yeah, we can go with that too.
That's a tough one because the older I get, the less things mean to me. It's more,
That's kind of where I'm at now.
yeah, your relationship with material things changes.
That's how it works.
Yeah. But I think for me, my most prized possession, materially, is my tent. My tent, my indoor.
Did not expect that.
Yeah, that is my most prized possession right now. Especially when I have tomatoes and peppers in January. So.
Oh, okay. The tent for gardening. I'm picturing you with a sleeping bag right now.
Oh no, not a sleeping.
Okay.
No.
This one has lights and fans, and a carbon air filter. Okay, yeah, that was always my favorite thing. It's like, okay, your medicine cabinet has lights and a mirror. Mine has a light and fans, because that's where I grow my medicine. So, we all have a different perspective of a medicine cabinet, but my grow tent. And this weekend we're bringing that upstairs. I'm so excited. And but my most prized possession, without it being material, definitely my kids. Definitely my family. Yeah.
What about you, Jeff?
Well, I also don't place a lot of importance on possessions. And I don't consider my wife a possession, and she's the most prized thing about my life. So for me, the possession I have is what I just did. Is get this baby ready for me after this question to go outside and light it up. And that's my most prized possession right now. Possessions don't mean anything. They're worthless. They really are. People are worth something. I mean, Kate, you're worth much more to me than anything I could possibly own.
Love it.
And the same for everyone else that's here. Hi, Andrea. It just, as you get older, it doesn't mean anything. What's the difference? It's about your life and the quality of your relationships. And that's my old man wisdom for today. And I'm going to go get high.
Totally set the mood for the next like 10 hours.
It's the weekend, okay?
Yes.
This is how we do the weekends.
And I'm single all weekend, so I'm
Aren't
gonna
us
be in this
young
state
ones
all
supposed to be
weekend.
the like wild and crazy ones?
I'm single all weekend too. Yeah, everyone I know is in Vegas.
So when it comes to the prized possession thing, I don't know. I mean, even though I can't drive it, I still really appreciate the car.
There
In
you
case of an
go.
emergency.
Hey.
And let's get the answer from Andrea for today's icebreaker. What is your most prized possession?
That's such a really hard question. I gotta have to go with Jeff right now, to be honest with you. Material
understandable.
items don't mean shit.
I was gonna say, is there something I don't know about? I didn't know Jeff was up for grabs.
I just
Twisted, you okay? I had to. I knew it. I knew it.
I've had some major events in my life this year that made me come to a lot of realizations and put a lot of things in perspective that I don't know, material items don't really mean that much. You should appreciate the people in your life.
Cheers to that.
I heard you
What's
had an
the-
idea for another topic to bring up, Andrea?
Yeah, well, I had something kind of blindside me Wednesday.
Well, it's no fun.
Well, I knew that I had put in that I had talked with my neurologist and stuff about being referred to a higher level epilepsy center to be assessed about surgery. And we'd kind of talked about it vaguely a couple of times about how it might be a good option for me. And he thought about, the referral, and he'd done the referral once and then kind of nothing happened. I think it fell through the cracks. And then stuff happened and he brought it up again and I was like, yeah, nothing ever happened. They never called. And I was like, but the way things are going right now, don't worry about it because my life is chaos right now and I don't really want to mess with it. So I kind of put the brakes on it. But then a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and sent him an email saying, hey, I think I do want to go ahead and pursue this, expecting it would be a few months. And they called me out of the blue Wednesday saying, hey, can you come on Tuesday? Yeah, I'm kind of
24 hours
freaked out.
notice.
What?
24 hours
No,
notice. They called you on Monday.
they called me on Wednesday saying, can you come on
Oh, and today's
Tuesday?
okay. Sorry.
Yeah. And so I'm freaking out, trying to figure out how to, doing a three-way call with my mom to try and get transportation to get it done. And I'm just kind of freaking out because I don't even know what I'm walking into. So I thought I would ask all of you lovely people who might have been there, what happens when you walk into your first appointments and you're starting to maybe be assessed for possible surgery in the future?
Oh, this is gonna be a fun one. That
Right.
first
I thought,
impression you make today, I mean Tuesday, that might set
yeah,
a really good tone.
I just don't even know what to expect. I'm kind of just planning on walking in with lots of, what do you think I should, where should we go from here? Because what we're doing so far hasn't been working, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, Kate's perfect because she's had surgery, but with every appointment, it's basically, okay, what have you got? What's next? This didn't work very well. Or, you said you wanted to talk about this, so what are the options?
Right. It's totally new set of doctors, a new hospital, it's new everything.
Oh shoot, yeah. Wow, this is exciting. Very exciting. Definitely have your history clear cut as possible. Take the emotion out of it as if you're
That's
doing,
the hard part.
yeah, I know,
It's
but
trying to get it all together by Tuesday.
oh gosh, yeah, it's basically a quick summary of your seizure history, the medication history, and what your goals are now. The problems that you're having now, and what your goals are, and then what options do you have? Oh, who's got to go? Twisted's got to go. Peace, love. But yeah, just go in with that summary and say,
Later
okay,
tonight.
options, let me think about it, kind of thing. Um, yeah, wow, that's
It's just a lot. It's because I was especially not expecting it to happen this quick. And then for it to happen like next Tuesday, where I have like no time to prepare, that makes it even more, I think. But at least I don't have as much time to stress out about it.
right. And you got us too. You know,
Yeah.
I would say Kate's probably got very similar information, but she's had surgery, so
Yeah. What did she have done? She disappeared.
She's got RNS and
RNS?
yeah, and to do that, you have to have the SEEG. So she had the surgically implanted stereo SEEG.
How long do they do those?
I don't even know.
I would think that they're fairly lengthy since they do surgery to implant things.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm communicating with my daughter.
Okay, how did the SEEG go? She was saying you had the SEEG before the RNS.
Yes, I had several, whatever they call those inpatient EEG stays where you stay for like a week at a time. I had 3 of
EMU?
those. Right.
3 of them?
In the 2 years preceding the first surgery.
Okay.
So after they compiled enough data to satisfy the insurance for any surgery, then they analyzed the data from 3 inpatient EEGs and 1. I couldn't get a straight answer of how many days or if it was a week or longer, but the SEEG also served the purpose of narrowing down the foci. How many focal points, like where your seizures originate from.
Yeah, to make it more precise when they actually do the surgery.
Yeah, and to know which surgery you even qualify for, because they wouldn't do lobectomy, ablation, or any part of any kind of whatever that surgery word is, where they just take out a chunk of your brain, because some of the foci were on the hippocampus, I want to say, like it was like deep, and
Yeah.
that's what led them to RNS instead of VNS, because RNS is the only one where you can have more electrodes further in, not just on the
Mm,
surface. And VNS is
interesting.
kind of automatic
Yeah.
impulses.
It's
Yeah,
kind of like a pacemaker, isn't it?
exactly. That's the analogy that everybody still uses. And RNS is more responsive. So after they played with the settings a little bit, the range of time they give you though for the RNS for how long the battery lasts, that varied greatly. Yeah, because even now they're saying it could still go from anywhere from 6 to 12 years. That 10 years is the median setting before
Yeah.
we'll have to go back in for like a battery replacement surgery. And at this point, they only have me coming back every 6 months. So I don't think I took a
What do
note
they have
of
to
whether they updated that.
what do they have to do for the battery replacement?
Another surgery. It's another inpatient thing. Like right now, there's a piece of the skull missing. That's where the, I guess, battery pack or whatever you want to call it, the actual device is. And then the scars or the little lumps back here are from the electrodes, and that's on both sides. So I can tell where the device is, and they say again, that's like the spot you always watch out for. No MRIs, because the RNS has to get turned off or put in settings changed to get an MRI. That's another important reason to have some kind of ID bracelet, whenever we go to
Yeah.
a new place. If there's, an ER situation or something like that, then it's really important that you don't go near any magnetic device with the RNS, because in whatever those things are called at the airport, um, that'll get set off. But then if you go into an MRI, like a really, really strong magnet,
Oh yeah,
it
that
could
would
literally
rip it out of your rip it out.
yeah, that they warned against that several times.
Yeah.
So after all
MRIs
the
can
tests, then the appointments with the surgeon will be fun, because that's when you can actually get all the specific questions. In my notes, I said that I never got all the answers because I was just fresh from all these seizures on the EEGs, and I was still out of it. So
yeah.
that's another reason, before you're going in with the intention of having seizures, plan on what you want to do for like the week after and have that all written down, so that that kind of thing doesn't fall through the cracks. Because it
Yeah.
seemed like after we got the process started, it went really quickly, but that could be because I was out of it.
Yeah.
for most of the appointments. And again, we had to go to like a 3-hour drive and wherever they tell you to go. So it's a lot. It'll take up a lot of time. But if you feel that it's worth it, definitely get all your questions answered. Now we know to get every single procedure prior authorization with your insurance. Ask them how long that lasts and just get all the details hashed out. And in your new patient appointment, though, this is going to be exciting because you can go in like Ann said with those goals clear.
Yeah.
And as long as this physician understands that you're here to listen, I respectfully request your opinion because this is you're the one who can tell me what my best option is to achieve controlled seizures. This is where I'm at now. This is where I want to be within 2 years or whatever, amount of time. And I mean, maybe even throwing that goal word in there might put them on the right level. You bringing
I
somebody
just
with you?
don't. That's the worst part of it.
What's that? Not bringing somebody or wanting somebody in there?
The person that I have to bring is not a person that I want to bring, but that's the only person that I can bring.
Okay, so do your best to set those boundaries long
Mitigate
before.
the damage.
That's the thing. Prevent the damage by laying out the boundaries. Maybe give some kind of incentive to stick by your rules, and that might shut them up. Or whatever you need.
Believe me, I've been trying for 47 years.
Ugh.
Can't
So
they
even the
stay in the
incentive.
waiting room?
Um, I need them to be informed if they're going to be helping me with all of the things. They need
Yeah,
to
I've
have
been there.
they need to have a clue.
And it's tough.
And you don't always get the paperwork, the right pamphlets on that first appointment. But then again, you could downplay it to whoever is, basically driving. Let them know this really is just a meeting. I'm letting them know what my goals are, and they'll tell me what tests to take. I'll have those appointments when I go to checkout. We'll schedule the follow-up, and you can come to the counter with me to schedule those tests that they might order today. I need you there for that really important part. Emphasize that instead of, stay out. Just say when I most need you is at checkout time so we get the right appointments for those tests they might order. Maybe they'll still feel required.
Yeah, we're working on it.
Well, thank you for bringing that question to group today. Now we all feel like we're doing our part. Thank you.
We'll get hopefully I'll be back in time to give you the damage report on Tuesday.
But don't anticipate a damage report right now. You're not going to set yourself up for failure, Andrea. We're not going to let you do that.
No, I mean, I'm excited about it. I just am dreading the drive mostly.
Playlist. Got your Bluetooth, the headphones?
I want to make it there alive.
Uh-oh. Is it a sibling or a parent?
A parent.
So just keep the right one in.
I will
Have that
pray
left
for
one out so they
you,
can
dear.
still.
I will pray for you. I'm sorry. Right. It might be the smack that they need from the doctor. I've had that happen. Okay.
Oh, where the doctor really was on your side.
Yeah, that reality check gets even more real every time, according to my doctor. So have faith in that. There you go. Because she's like, this is so, yeah, she's usually very overwhelmed, more than I am after an appointment. So I know what you mean. It'll be okay.
Yeah, she's great in a crisis. Don't get me wrong. I love her to death. She's wonderful, but does not respect boundaries at all. And
No.
she likes to do everything her way.
Is it her? Well, obviously it is her car.
Yep.
You'll be all right.
Emphasize gratitude on the way there and just lay out, something to the effect of everything that you've helped me with over the years has inspired this is what I'm going to say to the doctor and see if she'll just
Oh
agree.
yeah, it'll be all right. It's just getting there. I
Yeah.
usually
You've made it
Andrea,
this long, Andrea. You got this.
You got this. Get your favorite cookies and hers too. Okay, so
Andrea, can't you say that you need to meditate and put your earphones on? That before the appointment, you need to calm yourself and meditate.
I might try that one.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll jump into the epilepsy talk.
I got something.
Cool.
It says clustering focal aware seizures. I have aura continua, where I constantly have a lingering aura no matter what I do, and it is 24/7. It is constantly on no matter what I do. I've been in 200 milligrams for about a week and a half of lamotrigine, but yesterday in my fourth period class, I felt my heightened seizure start. It felt like I was floating in a bad way, like I was in water, but like I was drowning. I then started feeling like I was buzzing, like a nicotine buzz. I couldn't feel I couldn't feel for the life of me. And I just started off while my teacher was yapping. It was clustering focal seizure. It would start, kind of tamper off, and then back up. It went for about 5 to 7 minutes and I was fully freaking out. I didn't go full tonic-clonic, and I never have, even when I cluster like that, after I couldn't focus on my fifth and sixth period for the life of me. I was buzzing and buzzing and buzzing and buzzing. I just started off. I felt like a zombie, and even when I write this, my aura is still heavily elevated. I don't understand why my lamotrigine isn't working well, and it is one of the worst elevated seizures I ever had. I'm still very lucid, and it is very much sucks. I don't know what to tell you. I don't have focals like that anymore. Shout out to Nature's Made. B12 by Nature's Made. Yeah. So, um, clustering in school, I'd tell somebody. You need people to know in situations like that. Yeah, I would have pointed that one out. But here's a comment. Someone said, "Gosh, I'm sorry," and go to your next two classes like that. I'm so glad you're feeling better. Do you have rescue meds? No, they don't have rescue meds. And that was by Raven. Something here says, I was having similar problems happening 6 weeks ago. I was hospitalized for my seizures, and upon lamotrigine to taking 200 milligrams twice a day, so 400 milligrams total, and I haven't had any auras or seizures in 6 weeks, the longest I've gone so far. If you have a neurologist, I would try and reach out to them and see if they can adjust or talk about different options.
Sounds
Advice
like
on
the most.
clustering focal?
Oh, well, I would assume that something that might help with that not happening is to have a plan in place, not go from class to class worried and nervous on, you know, right at the end of the lecture or whatever, thinking, okay, am I going to make it to the next class or am I going to wander off the balcony? Like, they want to first thing, let a trusted medical professional know what is happening, or parents, or, whoever is a trusted adult that can actually get something done for you. Let them know what's happening and have a plan in place of what feels like worst case scenario. And then take it from there. So you'll have your follow up, you'll know to take notes and be able to better understand why this is happening. But first step is to tell somebody who can get something done, what's going on, and have a plan for if this happens. And then figure out who to tell, whether it be principal or teacher, or just have somebody that's willing to go through this with you. Walk you class to class for that first week while you're adjusting on the meds or whatever. You're going to need support. Get ready to ask for help because you're going to need it. but that still makes you a stronger person for recognizing that.
You guys got
What do
any
you think,
advice
Andrea?
for
Did you have any clusters?
I haven't really ever had any clusters that I'm aware of, but I have been home alone for most everything and that I know of. The tonic clonics I just am wake up from.
And
So
hours are gone.
right. And like
Yeah.
I have no idea when this happened or how long it was or anything. I'm so out of it I don't even know when it started, or what I was doing. So
Yeah, I've been there.
I got something. It says termination. Even though my job claims they can't fire me because of my health, they're assisting me on what I need to get medical clearance poorly. I feel like I'm being set up for failure to grant them an excuse other than my health to terminate me. I am being paranoid, or am I being paranoid, or my perception of the situation can be factual? It can be factual. I've heard of people not getting fired for their disability, but then making the work harder on them to eventually they just want to quit. Heard that several times. First comment here says have an attorney. Second one says, I don't know, I'm kind of in the same boat. I started having seizures in December and I had 3 on the job. They already cut my hours. I'm waiting to see if they fire me when and if I have my next one. I know, but it implies to me he likes to party, and maybe that is linked to the reason there's seizures. I am a retired VP, and we terminated people not for the worst thing, but for a reason that was good enough, and we could prove it in court. Wow.
That's harsh. If I was them, I would want to hear some kind of success story. There was another girl at the last job who didn't have seizures, but she had another disability, and it required her to, not do the hours basically. So she came up with another solution to tell management of, a position that she could handle, sacrifice the commission, but still kept the job like she wanted to. So maybe if this employee takes a more proactive step, brings that to management of this is what I can still manage to do at no risk or liability to you, then that's worth a shot. In the meantime, I mean, I hate to agree with it, but maybe save up for that lawyer, because after this last job, when you can prove that you've been on the books making this much money for this long, disability cases are a better chance at having a livable income. But good job for everything that you're putting out there and thinking about doing this right. That's a big deal.
I got another one here. It says, is this epilepsy? My boyfriend, 34 years old, had his first seizure on May 27th. No, that's April 27th. It happened in the morning as I woke up to him convulsing. He had the total of 4 that day, with 2 at home, 1 in the ambulance, and 1 more at the hospital. He was given Keppra and remained seizure-free until 5/27, which would be May 27th. This time it was a bit different. He has suffered from what we believe to be as anxiety for several years. He will wake up in a panic and drenched in sweat. He had the same experience on May 27th, but it was coupled with disorientation and confusion. He was confused that showed a picture. He was confused, so we showed him a picture of our family and he didn't recognize them. I urged him to go to the ER, but he refused and he wanted to go back to bed. Considering his history, I am concerned and constantly checking on him. He wakes up disorientated again and comes into the living room, nearly startled, but still pretty aware of everything. He still refused to go to the hospital. About 30 minutes later, I go to check on him, and he's having a grand mal seizure that lasted 4 to 5 minutes. He was taken to the hospital, and labs, CT, and vitals were normal. They sent him home with Keppra, and he has been seizure-free so far. I'm inclined to believe what we thought it was anxiety, precursor to seizures, and he's likely to have more seizures that may have went unnoticed for some time. After his last seizure on April 27th, he had stopped liquor, but will drink a beer. He smokes marijuana heavily, and only new medication was tramadol prescribed by ortho in May 27th, which we realize can often cause seizures. No history of seizures, but he did have a head injury 8 years ago when he was hit by a brick. I don't know if it's epilepsy or if it's tramadol. Was just trying to find another trigger or what. I'm now anxious about his safety and quality of life. I'm not sure if this is epilepsy or not. If he's having seizures, I'm not gonna say that means epilepsy because it doesn't, but yeah, go see a neurologist, not just emergency rooms. This is something you can take care of at home.
Definitely
And
start getting this on record with a neurologist, like Pookie said, or somebody who will be able to treat this if it is epilepsy.
yeah,
Heads
you
up,
can't.
if you have more than 2 seizures.
Yeah, you can't just go about life with this stuff because, no. Like they said, they keep going to the ER, and the ER isn't gonna do much besides give you Keppra, like you said. And he's having grand miles, and you haven't talked to a neuro. They said they talked to an ortho, but yeah, other than that, you got to go find a neurologist, not an ER nurse or whatever the case. But to each his own. That's what
Well,
he feels
tramadol is
best
a
for
really
you.
popular opioid that lowers your seizure threshold.
Oh, didn't know that. Well, that makes a lot of sense. First comment says only a doctor can make that call. Second comment says I believe marijuana lowers the threshold to seizures. He might want to cease that. And I think about when they occurred because they may have been triggered that he should now avoid. I hope it gets better for you guys. Hang in there. I'm new to the group and I'm trying to find my way as well. I can say it's not the weed. Well, everybody's case is different. Weed has never bothered me, and none of the people that I've met. I haven't met anyone who said the weed bothered them so far. But yeah, I say see a neurologist or get a primary and see how that goes. But you're gonna need more than Keppra.
There's also no science that says that weed lowers the seizure threshold.
Right, because I feel like smoking right now. But anyway.
But there's still a long way to go and better being able to filter, any of we know indica sativa have different effects for everybody, but even that, I always preferred a sativa hybrid and didn't have problems as long as I drank enough, as long as I stayed hydrated. So now we'll go back 10 years later and see what's changed on the market. Everybody has their own triggers, especially. So this early in the game, start taking notes and get all your doctors on the same page so you don't have that ortho issue again.
But it's easy to blame the weed if somebody is both ignorant and doesn't want to think about what it's really about.
And if it's the doctor who actually prescribed an opioid, they're going to call out the weed ad and a beer, absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
I suggest the not drinking. I say it's not the weed.
Wait.
Everybody knows their own body, but yeah. For me, it's indica all times a day. Yeah. I like being high. So
For me, it's THC.
indica does a lot for me. Helps me feel that fatigue feeling of drag ass. Like I'm so loaded. I like that feeling.
Yeah. I'd rather be indica high than that dragged out fatigued feeling. And it does seem to get away, to get rid of that. But you know how it is, guys. Haters gonna hate.
Right.
Oh my God, we gotta get these people to stop using this stuff. It's so dangerous. Blah blah blah. Yeah, well
Heads
look
up
at
for
the
somebody who still calls it dope.
yeah, right. I'm like, you want to say it's so dangerous? Look at the pills that I'm taking.
Right. I don't understand. It's like give them guns, take the weed.
Well, give me a gun and try to take my weed.
You got me off of morphine.
Yeah, as weed laws are getting stronger, gun laws are getting a little less stronger. I got another one here though. It says sister just developed seizures, looking for advice, context of what to expect from new diagnosis. I'm at a loss here of what to do. My sister is 27, just developed seizures and has had her first one 6 days ago and is averaging about 4 per day. Emergency room has discharged her 3 times. Neurology consult is pending for late July. This emergency doctor thinks she should be able to still work while seizing. Is this normal? I can't imagine having episodes like that and then continuing with the job. Lately, they've been lasting about a minute. She's always able to feel them coming on and can get herself in a safe position. She maintains her airway. We haven't been able to pinpoint a trigger as of yet, but we're keeping a log of how many seizures for how long. I'm just looking for context of what to expect for her journey to get a diagnosis. So far, the emergency room was only able to do a CT and blood work, all of which are okay for a high lactate. Any stories or context would be appreciated. I'm a nurse, but not my area of expertise. Well, if you were a nurse, I wouldn't send her to the emergency room every time. But thoughts, you guys. 6 days of having seizures, 4 a day. Yeah.
The only thing that all the ER visits did for some good was to make sure that the insurance didn't take their time in honoring those referrals and getting treatment at a better epilepsy center to stop these constant like $5,000 every other week trips.
Mm.
So that's the only thing that an ER trip does build a record of something legit to show the insurance company that this is a real problem and it's not going to stop, and a PCP can't do shit. So keeping the record is one, especially being a nurse. I'm assuming she wouldn't allow any medication to be administered that could do more damage than good. And obviously just monitor the vitals and keep her in a safe place if another seizure does come on, but find the right medications and not going to do more harm than good, especially for somebody that young.
I believe she's not taking medication. It hasn't said that.
Yeah, so it's got to be a big picture situation with the right professional to go over the whole history and what could possibly get this under control.
I say from what they're saying, is this normal? Normal for the emergency room doctor to tell you that you should still work while seizing? That's not normal. For a doctor to tell you that at the hospital, I don't think they ever supposed to tell you things like that, right? Just stop working in the emergency room. Anybody have that
I think
experience?
they're trying to get out of being the doctor to write the note saying you don't have to go back to work.
Yeah, I don't suggest going back to work if you're having 4 a day. You're gonna lose that job for a day. I don't know how many they're gonna allow you to have on the job in a day, but around here, California, you can't have too many. Not in a certain amount of work period. I think they told me. I think it's like in between the pay period, you can only have like 3. First comment here says I'm 25 and I had 2 seizures within the past 6 months. A lot of auras scattered within that time. CT came back clear MRI and EEG, relatively clear blood work besides the lactate, like you and your sister's situation. I'm waiting for a 24-hour EEG early July. I've been seeing a neurologist and I've also been prescribed Lamictal, lamotrigine. Doctors aren't sure what I have or what causes my seizures yet, so it's been a really scary time, but I've just been taking it day by day. It sounds like you've been a great support to your sister. Continue to advocate for her at the doctor's office and motivate her to do so for herself. Don't be afraid to get a second opinion and switch doctors if they aren't listening to you. Seizures are no joke, and she deserves to have a high quality of life. I wish you both the best. That's good advice. Get a second and third opinion if you need to. But emergency room opinions aren't going to help them. So and if you can, they haven't talked about medication, but yeah, they're going to give you Keppra. At this point, I say take anything to stop the seizures. If they're not going to give you anything, take what they're offering until you see the neurologist. Anybody else think differently? I know we're not pro Keppra, but
I
not
would
getting-
agree. Take it until you can see a doctor and then get off it as soon as possible.
yeah, that's what I think. Get off it as soon as you can, but as for something, don't go med free if you're thinking it might be epilepsy and you're not diagnosed yet. Yeah, that's all it took was 2 days later after my first seizure. They gave me medication like, oh, you have epilepsy. They did no checks. I just got out of the ambulance. I was in the emergency room for 2 days later after the other one, and they were just like, you have epilepsy. Did no checks that day. That's odd now that I look back on it. This one says, I can't tell if it's what everyone says or if it's something more. I keep having these episodes where I space out, and quote, space out, and have sometimes I have these body jerks that are like tics. I don't have Tourette's, and I know that I do space out a lot, but spacing out is different than this. When I have these little episodes, it's like I'm just gone. I'm still looking at things and hearing things, but I'm not really seeing or hearing. It's just the other night my mom had to call my name 5 times before I came back to reality. And this isn't the first time it's happened. I nearly walked into oncoming traffic before. The twitching could be twitching, but it's intense, like I lose control of my body, and for a second, they usually occur when I'm distressed, either by noise, too much, or visual input or stress. It doesn't look like anything more than ticking or spacing the outside, but I'm worried that this isn't just that. I want advice, maybe a different perspective, opinions. I have other chronic issues, and I hit my head a lot as a kid. Probably should have gone to the hospital for those, but we are broke. So I wouldn't be surprised if I'm having some other problem on top of it all. They said they just want advice and they can't tell if people are lying on them, basically. Can't tell if it's everything, if it's what everyone says. I think if your mother's saying something like that is happening, you got to get that checked out. I don't have bad myoclonics like the jerking where you're hitting stuff and throwing stuff. I mean, every now and then, but that's something to get checked on. But the first comment here says, I was having a lot of these, in quote, absence seizures before I had a TBI that started making the stereotypical seizures happen more. My mom would get calls from school during the day a few times a month. My senior year saying I was acting weird and not responding for decently long periods, 5 to 15 minutes. I was later diagnosed with epileptic, non-epileptic seizures after that. How do you get epileptic and non-epileptic seizures? Well, I guess that would make sense. That's never heard of that.
If they find evidence on the second EEG or the first one, if they have to find evidence of seizure activity in the brain, and also have documented seizures that for whatever reason they have a valid cause to believe is not epileptic. So that's a tricky one, but better if they're recognizing both diagnoses, then that's definitely better for the patient.
It's tricky though, because a gallbladder attack sure as hell can look like a seizure. I don't know if you've ever seen somebody have one. But the condition that I was in at that point, that's what they classified as a psychogenic non-epileptic seizure. But when the general surgeon who took my gallbladder out looked at the video, he's like, no, this woman is having a gallbladder attack. This has been going on for at least 5 years. And yeah, but yeah, they classified that as PNES because they didn't recognize it. And that's basically how they do it. And I'm like, okay, I guess, okay, what are we gonna do about that? Say, this is not what you're saying it is, but there's no way to make them listen unless like something like what happened to me. It's like if I kept seizing, it would have torn that surgery apart within hours after that surgery. So they had to listen to me. And I'm like, look, you either stop this now or it's going tonic-clonic. I just went bilateral because I felt the left side. And I'm like, I really don't give a flying fuck what happens from here. I told you everything. Bye now. And that was it. Bye now. And my daughter was telling me, she said, honest to God, I had to walk out of the room. She was laughing so hard because I'm like, hey, I told you everything. You didn't listen. Bye now. Just as the Ativan, it's like, fuck you. But, we have to find a way to make them listen. It's like, here's the form. I just have to sign it if you fuck up. I don't know. But it's crazy. It's like everything is, you can have both psychogenic and epileptic seizures. I think psychogenic is a very ambiguous, non-clinical garbage bag for diagnostics. And I'm not the only one that says that. So I know other doctors that will say that too, because it's just, we don't know what it is, so we're going to call it psychogenic. Sometimes true functional neurological disorders that cause psychogenic seizures can be something as strange as all of a sudden, you saw an accident and all of a sudden you couldn't speak anymore. That is a functional neurological disorder. And that's just from your brain going into shock. So you got a little electrical wobble and you just have to turn it off. Same thing with epilepsy. It's like, just turn it off. But I don't understand the whole draw, it seems like a trending diagnostic to the psychogenic thing. But yeah, you can have both. I get it. I definitely get it. And therapy does help. But when you figure it out that it's not psychogenic, sometimes it's a minute too late. And I was that close. So I'm like, you guys can fight all you want. I don't really care. I got nothing to lose. But everything to lose,
And that's how it feels like when it comes to surgery.
Yeah. Well, and basically, I guess that's what it came down to. I had said to them, you're going to be the ones explaining this to the surgeon, not me. And that was the first seizure. And I don't even remember that. And then by the second seizure, my daughter was there and she heard me tell them, hey, it's entirely up to you. I told you what would happen. You're not listening. Bye. I can't help it. But it's like, I have to control my seizures. Well, I would love to be able to do that. If I had the gas pedal, I would definitely put it in park. I don't have that control. So still getting that every now and then. It's like, oh, well, you never should have done that. Well, why couldn't you just hold back on that? I'm like, it's not like I was constipated, okay? Epilepsy, yeah, seizures aren't like that. You can't just hold it in for a minute. It just doesn't. Sorry, guys.
Right. That's hilarious.
what I was going to ask is the PNES versus epilepsy. Would you think it's safe to say that one distinction that can be made is the postictal? That after a PNES, but you're coherent a lot sooner than after an epileptic event?
Yeah, usually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the postictal, and I don't have the headache. I might be sweating, but I feel more muscle tension from the panic. Because basically, to me personally, a psychogenic non-epileptic seizure is a panic attack gone wild. And if I can get control of that, I can actually calm down. And that's another way I know that it's psychogenic. It's like, okay, this was not, I got this. You know, I got the steering wheel, I got this. But the epileptic ones, that's usually where I panic for a very brief moment because I can't do anything about it. And if there's somebody around watching that, you know, they'll see that momentary panic, like I'm trying to get out or something. And um, you know, and they don't always recognize it. But someone that's around me all the time did, you know, and she's like, yeah, my mom's having a seizure. You're watching. She's, you know, and she saw it. She knew it was about to go over to a bilateral. So it was like, you better do something, guys. She's not going to stop. So, but that was that, you know, that was pretty interesting that they were like, well, we didn't know. And I said, well, whether it was a seizure or not, was it something that could have damaged their surgery? So just treat it. Don't question it. Why don't you just treat it and then question it? This is, I don't get this anymore. I don't understand how healthcare works anymore.
Right.
You know, it's like, oh, this could be a heart attack. Well, let's give him that medication because this would help with those symptoms if it's a heart attack. And they don't even question or think about it. But when it's epilepsy, they got to ask us all these questions when we're either coming out of a seizure, in between seizures, or going into a tonic-clonic. And it's like, patient uncooperative, I got something for you. If I was uncooperative during a seizure, that should be your answer right there. Okay? Just saying. You know, that's crazy. And I see it all the time. You know, unable to complete MRI due to patient moving. I was having a freaking seizure. Okay, I had one after another for like I don't know how many hours in that hospital stay. And I'm like, wait, when did these ever stop? You know, and then I'm looking at the med chart, and this was back a couple of years ago. And I'm looking at the med chart, and it's like, the hell were they giving me antipsychotics for? I was having seizures, and they were giving me propofol and Haldol, and yeah, fuck it all. There, you know. I'm like, that's not helping. You're making it worse. Oh, well, your records are telling us that you have psychogenic everything. Yeah. But no, this time was actually a good one. They got a good lesson.
So finally, once the evidence that you've been presenting for years is put together by the right people,
Yep.
and I can't think of it as anything besides like cachet is cleared off your medical record, then that seems like another big hurdle. If you get an incorrect diagnosis and treatment for it, that it's going to be hard for any future physicians to start in the right place.
Well, let's hope, because at least this doctor recognized that he's basically putting in the diagnosis that was there in 2020 before I moved to Rochester. They gave me this diagnosis at Johns Hopkins. I didn't get the focal to bilateral tonic-clonic from Rochester. I got that from Johns Hopkins. And that was just based on my EEGs. So, you know, and it's like, yeah, I already knew, but that's what happened here. They had to do it. They had to find the diagnosis on their own. They're like, well, then that's the kind of crap. But I can't say that it won't make a difference because we still have to defend a diagnosis. You know what I mean? Especially women. It's like I could be an amputee and I would still be arguing with a freaking doctor. I'm convinced at this point. I really am. Yeah.
It's the insurance coverage that's really got me thinking today. You actually have to ask when going into a complex surgery if you're
Yeah.
going to have care after.
Well, apparently what happened, just the same as with like a controlled substance. If it isn't due, it'll be delayed. Okay. I looked at my physical therapy requisition. They don't want me starting until week 3 or week 4. So that's not until next week and the following week. And I'm like, come on. But in my hospital notes, they wanted me to take this sling off like 3 days after my surgery and start moving my arm. So I
Just
did.
literally go out and let it dangle in the wind. I mean, you
Well,
just
yeah,
have to
no,
have
it
some
wouldn't. Trust
help
me,
with that.
I could not do that. I was passively, you know, like using my other hand to bend my elbow so that my elbow wouldn't get stiff. Because that's the first thing that happens. And it's like, I just don't want a frozen shoulder. And then I did some shoulder rolls. And then I get the no, please don't. 9 days after my surgery. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know, and she's like, well, let me see what you can do. And I showed her. She said, no, I don't want you doing that. Not for a few more weeks. And I'm like, well, too bad. If I can't find a way to manage pain, I am not going to sit here in an immobilizer that's causing pain. Because I know just moving carefully, you know, I'm like, we know what we're doing. I'm not going to stress the bicep or any of the surgical areas, but I'm not going to sit here doing nothing after they said, no, take this off. You want to be doing this. It's just for comfort. What? And then I get to the doctor, no, we want you strapped down for another 2 weeks. And I'm like, wait, can I pick between the two? Can I choose? So then I get the requisition for the physical therapy, and I'm reading phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Okay, phase 2 is usually where you start with your physical therapy, and it's showing weeks 3 and 4. So what happened was, yes, it is automatically approved, but I can't start physical therapy for at least another week. And I'm like, oh, wait. Okay, no problem. Because I want to be with my friend, you know, my favorite physical therapist. But that's why. That's what happened. Yes, it's approved, but I can't start yet. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's all that was. But darn.
Non-epileptic seizures, are they just as bad as epileptic seizures? Like you have a tonic-clonic, you won't be able to tell the difference if it's non-epileptic or epileptic?
I don't think I've ever gone that far, where it was like a tonic-clonic, and if it was, I don't remember. But I know I've had like where I black out or I pass out. But I used to freak out a lot. Like I would be startled and then I would like totally freak out. Like I had an anxiety disorder. And we found out later that those were reflexive seizures. So, which is part of the reason I take Vimpat. And because it's really good for that. And I got my pregabalin back because it's really good for that. But yeah, I do have reflexive seizures, so it's hard to tell. And it got to the point where I'm like, okay, fine, I'll see what I can do to take care of the anxiety on my own. Because I wasn't, what meds would they give me for anxiety for real? That would be any different from what we use for epilepsy.
Right.
So I'm like, I will live a life of benzodiazepines. No, I will not. So, I did the therapy and that helped because a lot of it was panic. And it was like what they call a trauma response. When you have PTSD or complex childhood PTSD, your brain automatically responds in the way it was trained to. And you have to untrain that. You have to comfort that child. You have to untrain those pathways where I was freaking out or lashing out or running away, kind of thing. So it took years, I'm not gonna lie. But for the most part, what I just experienced with the psychogenic was simply a misunderstanding of diagnoses and the medical model of mental health that is not working, and actually harming people. That's what happened. Because yeah, they had everything listed as psychogenic. To the point I almost died twice. So it's like, yeah, no. I don't know. I want to say that I truly believe in them because I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know. But I still say that PNES is a big, literally contractor sized trash bag for diagnoses that they don't know what else to tell you. There's no clinical support in any of their concepts in these diagnostics. There is no diagnostics in PNES. And the only thing you can do is rule out epilepsy. And one EEG does not do that. So I think more people need to understand that part. But 9 times out of 10, maybe not that much, but quite often, the PNES turn out to be like deep brain seizures or things like things happening in the cerebrum, like a Chiari malformation or other birth defects that people aren't even aware of at the base of their brain. So and that just came from my doctor Tuesday, because I'm like, well, what about insular seizures? What about this? And he's like, I don't think you're having that because I'm seeing more of this. And I'm like, okay, so let's attack. Let's target what we need to target. So, and see what happens. But I'm probably going to have another EMU stay. I see you smiling, Kate, but I hate them. Hate them. I know. So,
You
but
get
yeah,
the data that you need to make the right choices and help these professionals make the right choices.
well, the very first question I have is that, am I even a candidate for surgery at 65? So let's be realistic. I'm not going to go through all that if there isn't a chance of having, and he said he doesn't think a VNS would be appropriate, because I have too many foci. It would kind of overwhelm the VNS. He's like, no, it won't. Yeah, it's not enough.
Won't hold up, it'd be dead tomorrow.
Right.
That battery would never last.
And that's exactly what he said. He said, no, I think your brain would short that right out. And I'm like, oh, great. It's like that. And he's like, yeah, it's like that. I'm like, so we're talking more like DBS, RNS. And he said, yeah, or some of the other new stuff coming up. Let's see. So I'll see him in 2 months. And we'll see. And I can't stand keeping my arm in this thing. I'm not kidding. I'm not
But as
kidding.
long as Anne's got a goal, you know where you're gonna make it, and you're gonna make it there healthy and safe. And if it takes, just doing some more modified exercises for now, you can make it. You got this.
Oh yeah, I got it made. I mean, I live with the exercise physiologist. I have it made. All she has to do is after she wakes up from passing out from reading my surgical notes, I'm not kidding, she did. She passed right out. She got in the corner of the couch and curled up with her laptop and didn't even open the laptop. And I'm like, hey, you okay? And she's like, yeah. She gets up, wanders to the bathroom, and I hear the that significant gagging noise. And she's like, all right, mom, this is what I do not want you doing with your arm, and this is what I do want you doing with your arm. And I'm like, are you okay? And all I heard she said was, I had to read your surgical notes. And it made her poor kid, it makes her that sick. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. She's like, yep, this is what you are not going to do, and this is what you can do. So we're good. But yeah, I don't start for another week. And I'm like, I thought I could schedule appointments next week. Now, maybe the intake, but not the rest.
I got something. It says, should I go to the doctor? I'm a 17-year-old female. I had no history of seizures. However, yesterday my roommate and her grandmother believe I had one. I have a history of getting a head rush when I stand up too fast. And yesterday, when I stood up from the couch and my vision started going black, I figured that was all that happened. But the next thing I knew, I was on the floor. It was sort of an overwhelming feeling because the first thing I saw was my roommate and her grandma staring at me, asking if I was okay. And at that point, I had not a clue what happened. According to them, I stood up, stared at them for a second, then collapsed. My eyes rolled back, and my arms did this weird T-Rex looking thing for about a minute. Then it stopped, and I said, I didn't even know I fell. I don't remember any of this, but for the rest of the day, I was feeling super brain foggy, and my hands were shaking. I think I might have pulled a muscle on my neck or something, because soon after that, I could not turn my neck, look up, look down at all, and still can't the next day. My mom thinks I'm fine and says that if it will make me feel any better, I can go to the doctor, but I sort of want to get a second opinion because it was terrifying and I'm scared this might happen again. Does anyone else have any ideas? There's a comment here and I'm going to read it. It says, I'm voting seizure on this one because the muscles that tell the whole story. Head will turn during a tonic-clonic and T-Rex looking thing. Sounds like what I've been told happens during my 1 to 2 minute convulsions. Or sometimes just totally flexed, rigid after collapse. Please don't let this go on until you see a professional who wants to help you or find out what happens. Take notes and do what you can to keep track of your sleep, drinking, and eating, about the hours leading up to the episode, and record whatever you can remember on how it felt after. If nausea or no desire to eat or anything the next day, that brain fog will have just wiped out memory of hours before. This could benefit not only you for noticing any trends, if possible triggers in case this happens again, time of the month, temperature, stressful days, etc. But will also show whatever doctor you see that you're prepared to deal with it again and sending you home. Oh no, it says prepared to deal with this in the best way possible. Don't accept the doctor saying, let's go, see what happens again, and sending you home. Expect MRI, EEG, blood work, and don't hesitate to ask what is being ordered and how will the results help. Research can go into that appointment and be ready to be taken seriously.
Yeah, anything that helps you be prepared to be taken seriously. Good to feel like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, that was a very thorough message, well, response. Pretty much got everything out of the way that I need to say. But here's another one that says, I'm not a doctor, but I have gone through a lot of diagnostic testing before I was diagnosed with epilepsy. One significant diagnosis is orthostatic hypotension. It's a sudden drop in blood pressure that can cause fainting. Another is vasovagal syncope. I know I said it.
Vasovagal syncope.
Vasovagal. Okay. Vasovagal syncope. Very similar, but without a drastic change in blood pressure. I hope you find explanation and solution to this mystery. Anybody having an explanation for vasovagal syncope?
The most common form of the most common cause of fainting, vasovagal syncope, triggered by an overstimulated vagus nerve, leading to a sudden drop in heart rate and blood pressure, and thus insufficient blood flow to the brain. Could be triggered by standing for a long time, dehydration, pain, stress, or the sight of blood. You get really dizzy really fast and fall.
Someone said could have been a seizure. If not, maybe could have been convulsive syncope. Glad you got a doctor's appointment. Better to be safe than sorry. Definitely take a visit to the doctors. You never know the cause. Though it could always be a blood burst thing since you stand fast, you said. Otherwise, though, definitely get a professional opinion. Thanks to Kate and Ann, we got some good responses. One says you may have had a seizure due to a heart issue or neurologist, since you have a history of head rush and when you stand up. But this time it turned into a possible seizure. Yeah, go see a doctor. Don't let your mom minimize that. That's from Raven. Raven has great advice.
She does.
I'm not sure if you met Raven. Is she?
Yeah. I
Oh.
think I met her. I think I met her on one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's been
But
out a little bit lately.
I've read a lot of her stuff online.
The response from Anne was a good one. I read her and Kate's response, and they didn't even know because it was old responses. Was I having seizure? So I'm 18. I haven't had seizures that I know of before. This has recently started. Oh, but I have recently started smoking weed. My girlfriend is 21, has been getting weed from a dispenser, which we have quite a lot of in Colorado. So I know it's safe weed and not laced with anything. And I've been particularly fine using a pipe to smoke or just not having it too fast. I also have a history of low blood pressure, and I also likely have POTS, just haven't gotten it diagnosed. First time I think I had a seizure when I hit the bong and got too high. I felt out of it and felt things like were happening in a stop motion, but I don't remember muscle jerking for that one. I was aware for the entire thing, just kept forgetting everything every 5 seconds. But the second time, I was more aware of my symptoms because I wasn't freaking out, just wondering what was going on. This time I hit my girlfriend's pin, but then tried hitting a blinker. Dumb, I know. Anyway, we went out to eat, and then it started to happen again, where I could hear just fine too, but things I was seeing happening after I heard it. Then my legs and arms went jerking, which I'm used to. I do sometimes before bed or sleep, but I couldn't stop my legs from jerking, and then my brain felt like it was being grabbed and squeezed. It didn't just hurt, it felt pressure. Side note, when I got home, my cat was concerned. Maybe it didn't feed her, but She also stayed with me in bed the whole time I slept it off. The person responded, just gonna add a comment. I'm not looking for medical advice, just wondering if I should be worried about it and I won't be smoking so much anymore. The response to that is it's an individual choice. My take is if that causes problem consistently, then stop. I use oils and I smoke. Sometimes smoking can be a problem depending on the strain. And my body at the moment, always stop if something feels weird. Even people without epilepsy can have an overwhelming reaction. It's more important to me that I regulate myself than to keep up with others in a session.
Yeah, it sounds like a virgin voyage of a hypochondriac. I know how that sounds. You know me, I'm cynical. But
Yeah, you kind of set her straight. That was your response.
yeah, I can't tell you how many times they come to the emergency room. So glad I'm not working. But yeah, that was the fun triage. th- uh, I would think that it was just that first time, you know. Doesn't sound like a seizure. I can't hear you, Andrea.
I didn't say anything. I was just sitting here. Was it saying I was saying something?
No, maybe I'm echoing, or I really am that stoned. I mean,
I got something new here. It says completely off meds. I'm completely off meds after my seizure 3.5 months ago. I was on Levopil and Eptoin, and Eptoin ended in like a month, and Levopil like 2 days ago. I feel anxious, scared, and I have a high heart rate. Should I be worried?
The high heart rate's probably because you're so anxious.
Yeah, me personally, I'd be worried. Um, Personal opinion, and you're off of meds. That would also consider the anxious part, not knowing the future.
Did it say why they were coming off of them?
Nope.
because they were seizure free. When you're
Yeah.
seizure free on medication, it's the medication that's keeping you seizure free. And when I see this over and over and over again, I started literally direct messaging these people. Can I have your doctor's name, please? Because if this is what they think is proper medical care, they are so backwards, they don't know what they're doing. You know, I mean, that's how many of us have gone through that, you know. But for real,
That's like stopping your blood pressure medicine because your blood pressure's fine.
yeah, I know. I'm like, what the holy? Why are they doing that to, especially to seizures? Do you think the seizures are not gonna hurt us? I'm gonna take you off the meds just to see what happens. I'm not gonna be part of your game. Write the script. That's it. I'm not. You know, it's like, but whenever they say, "Oh, I've been seizure free for 3 months or 3 years," I'm like, on the medication, yeah. So let's see what happens. I doubt it's the doctor telling them to stop.
Yeah, because it doesn't say that actually.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Comment here. It says that was your first seizure, then there is possibility you won't have any more. If you have had more seizures, then it is okay to be worried. It sounds like you have slowly gotten off your meds. That is the right way. If you have another seizure, you might have to go back on meds. Personally, I have had enough seizures that I was told it is highly likely that I will ever get off my meds. The OP responded, mine was fever induced in my first one. Also, thanks for replying. Fever induced. I get fever sometimes after, but fever inducing it, I haven't exactly had that happen.
Yeah, that's a febrile seizure. But I'm surprised they were put on anticonvulsants for that.
Yeah, usually they try to play that as this is a one-time thing.
Yeah, they usually do until it happens the second time. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It's like save that name and see if they come back. Oh darn, we thought everything was fine. I went off my meds and here I am again. You know, I'll give it 6 months.
You know? Yep, they'll be back.
All right, you guys, I got something else here. Says I had a seizure 5 weeks ago. Done CT scan, MRI 3 weeks ago. All was clear. Same with tests for epilepsy. 2 days ago, I had another seizure that lasted 2 to 3 minutes. Seeing a neurologist next week, but very anxious. And what can it be? Tumor, cancer, epilepsy, other severe neurological diseases. I also suffer with high level of stress and anxiety. Anyone else experience the same? Please share. Oh, I forgot to mention, I have 3 to 4 seizures when I was 12 to 13, and now I'm 40 and had first seizure after all this time. Okay, so what they're saying is they had a seizure 5 weeks ago, but until now they're 40, and between 13 and 40 didn't have any, but between 12 and 13 they had 4. I said, I don't think it's cancer. I don't think it's a tumor. I'm no doctor.
Just because they've gone 5 weeks, or it's been 5 weeks since the last one.
Yeah. Done the CT and MRI 3 weeks ago. It was all clear. And the same test for
That's
epilepsy.
not a conclusion though. Everybody has to
Yeah.
realize that those tests are never a conclusion the first time unless you're lucky enough to have a seizure during an EEG.
Go get a second opinion somewhere. Another comment here says, I was lucky that the first was seen by a group of work people. Happened in the mid-30s. When my wife saw some and recorded them, I had tonic-clonic seizures and had with no awareness. Also have success with EEG, MRI, and CT scan because it was recorded. My neuro immediately called it. I was put on seizure meds and tried many because most didn't work and caused side effects like such as rash. Ultimately, I had brain surgery because the meds did not resolve. Another comment says, I have such a hard time writing down my seizures, even just a day. And 3 to 4, I have focal aware and mostly unaware, very unaware. I had my first seizure nearly 2 years ago now, over 20 in 1 day. I had my ovary removed due to a cyst that had been there for almost 14 years. When they cut it open, they discovered cancer. Most likely just started. What's the weirdest things that trigger your seizures? We go through some comments. I haven't found a trigger. I don't know if you guys have. I just have seizures out of nowhere. One comment. One comment says, once seized from an orgasm. Girl I was with thought I was faking it the first few seconds. Another comment says, my seizure triggers are all ordinary. I think being started, strong emotions, losing balance, sometimes just random. I haven't been able to orgasm at all due to an SNRI, so I don't know if it will trigger me. What's an SNRI? I've heard of SSRIs.
It's a kind of like that. It's a nor up intake instead of serotonin up in, but it's the same thing. It's an antidepressant.
One more comment says, I got an absolutely nothing here, thankfully, as everything does, and they just come and go randomly. What's the weirdest triggers that you guys had?
I was so proud of myself for holding a back bend in a routine, and that caused a seizure. Handstands, back bends, those are no good for like more than 30 seconds for me.
I had about 3 weeks till I'm 3 months seizure free.
Cool.
Hopefully I make it.
And you're gonna post it too.
I'm gonna post myself sitting in a hospital bed like I did last time.
And good thoughts.
All right. A good thought is my last seizure, I didn't hit my head.
It's always good.
Yeah. I actually sat down and then it happened. So that's what I was told. You sat down and then you had a seizure. Seizures,
That'll-
even on medication. So I've been having seizures for 4 years now, and I've been medicated for 3. I take my meds every night like clockwork, but last night I had a really bad seizure. I'm on the Motrigine. Does anyone else have any experience with having seizures, even with taking your meds? This has only happened twice.
Of course.
Yeah, it happens all the time. I take my meds, I eat right, I sleep right, play video games and stay up all night because that's what the Motrigine causes. And yeah, still have a seizure. Do everything right. I feel like you're still gonna have a seizure eventually. Some people, I think they're just kind of being like, I didn't have a focal, it doesn't count.
And I know for some people, they like I have focals at night, and so sometimes I only realize it because of the way I feel. But sometimes I'm dazed and confused in the morning anyway. So I'm only going by how my body feels. So I can't really tell if I had a seizure or not.
Can you have an aura in your sleep?
No, no.
I've had some weird shit in my sleep before, but I'm not sure what it was. I think it was some kind of a seizure, but I don't know because I don't have any cameras and nobody was here.
I have a camera and no one's here. So.
Did you have to change the sheets?
No,
Yeah.
I don't pee or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
Lucky you.
No, I haven't
And what
so
I'm
far.
So apparently you can experience a seizure aura during sleep, but they call it in that part where you're just waking up, like maybe before you've opened your eyes, but you're not asleep anymore. They say that's the most susceptible time to have an aura, a focal, or something that might develop into a tonic-clonic right
big
when you're starting to wake up.
The big tonic-clonic I had was at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Were you like sound asleep then, or is that right before you usually wake
Oh
up?
yeah, I was out like a light. And it's
Okay.
about when your sleep phases shift or something.
Yeah,
And
they
the
do that by the hours, I think.
neurologist said after my EMU that I have an irritable brain when I sleep, but didn't really explain what he meant by that.
It sounds like an insult.
Kind of
I've been
does.
insulted worse, so
Irritable brain syndrome is actually a thing.
My
is it
brain is
really?
irritable all the time.
Is it really? Oh my gosh, Kate, no way. I'm like,
I mean, I don't see a CPT code, but apparently they're putting it in quotes. This is the AI overview. Irritable brain syndrome is not a formal medical diagnosis, but likely refers to symptoms associated with the gut-brain axis, where stress and anxiety can impact both gut and brain function. So, wow. If you
What
have an
does that
upset
have
tummy,
to do
then
with my EMU stay?
gut health.
I'm sure, yeah, I'm sure they're not referring to this version of irritable brain syndrome. That was probably just a really stupid what's that word? That word
Umbrella?
that describes something. No, it's an English phrase, not verb, not noun. The word that describes the noun. I don't know. They've made a really bad choice of
Adjective?
words. Yes.
Adjective?
Yes. That was the worst adjective he could have chosen.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow. But I mean, I can understand that syndrome existing, but to say that to somebody with epilepsy, I mean, let's say we can't rule it out. We can't rule it out that that is contributing to whatever is causing our seizures, whether it's stress or our diet or whatever. And it's always worth it to try. I finally figured that out. Wish I did that decades ago. It's always worth trying. But irritable brain and how Kate just described that, that sounds like a diet thing, a gut health. And that's more important than we give it credit for, because we have to be able to create those neural neurotransmitters in our brain and the neuroprotectants and all of that. So yeah, we need good gut health. But to say that to someone with epilepsy, that is a little slightly,
Condescending.
I
yeah.
think he just meant it like it's more active than normal, is kind of how he meant it.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's just odd.
yeah. Well, my favorite doctor called me Miss Glitch. So it was just one of those things, because that was me. I started glitching and it's like, come on, man, can you just make this stop? And yeah, it turned out we're still working on that, but he called me
Yeah.
Glitch. Yeah. Well, the myoclonic, we thought, okay, maybe it is this shoulder that needed to be repaired a decade ago. I'm not even ready for the rehab and I feel better. So we don't know yet. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
um having those myoclonics right after the surgery, I'm gonna say that the surgery isn't gonna fix those. So my doctor put me back on pregabalin, which is Lyrica, because
Yeah.
those are the seizures that I was taking them for. And we had a bit of an argument 5 times in the last 5 years where my script would run out because the provider wouldn't refill it. So I gave it one last try and I never refilled it. And he just noticed that Tuesday that I hadn't refilled it in nearly a year. And I told him what note to refer to. I said I got tired of the argument, so I removed the source of conflict, and here we are. I think I'm going to need that medication back.
But
You know,
you go into these appointments literally prepared for battle.
mm, yes,
Dates
no.
and times and documents and things that they can't respond. They can never come back at you with anything when
Well,
you're committed.
I appreciate that, but I don't want to go in. I used to go in for a battle. I literally would go to a doctor's appointment for a fight. And it's like, no, I'm not going in for a fight. I'm going in for a goal. And it's like, look, my years are getting fewer and fewer, and that day is coming closer and closer. Just like, Jeff can relate. It's like, I don't have time to play around with what you think this is when I have an existing diagnosis that if I have to, I will shove your face in through the pile of shit so you can see it. And I'll still look for the mushrooms on top of that pile of shit, but hey, that's me. But and that's all it is. I went in respecting his time and respecting my goal, and that's really all it was. It's like I don't want to waste your time. This is what I think happened when we lowered the VIMPAT. Hi, Jason.
Hey,
You know, thing. It's like I threw all of it at him. So what's next? What options do we have? And boom. And then my daughter started talking to him and they were having a heart to heart. And I'm like, hey Pookie, you okay?
Yep.
Okay, just checking. Yeah, just seeing the back of your neck. I'm like, yo, bro, just checking. But yeah, so he and my daughter had a really good conversation, which was really helpful. But wow. Yeah, I went in. I'm not going to waste our time. That's why I say do your research, do that journal, go in. This is the pattern that I saw. It looks like this is happening. And it just makes it so much easier for your teammate, AKA your doctor, to help you out. So it's just that's how it should work. And this guy is on board. He's not, yeah, he's definitely not like his colleagues, that's for sure. At least not yet.
A lot of people don't understand that your doctor works for you.
Yep. Oh, I know. I hear people say, oh, well, my doctor fired me. Well, how much were they paying you? They didn't fire you. You fired them. And trust me, they know it when I fire them. It's like, yo, no, I won't be making that appointment. Thank you. And here, this is where I want you to send my records. Goodbye. You know, it's like, I don't waste any time. If things aren't working, they aren't working. You can't, it's not my job to make that doctor understand me. It's either they get it or they don't. And they finally got it.
And we
And
don't have time to waste is a really good, point to
Yeah.
live by, basically.
yeah, it's like, I don't have time for this anymore. I've done it too many times. I just don't have time for it. And literally back to the medications minus the Klonopin that I was on in 2020. And this is all they had to do in 2020 when I moved here, was to put me on these medications. And it could have avoided, I don't know, 20 hospital visits maybe. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, okay.
Hey, Jason.
Hey, Pookie.
How you doing? Forgot the icebreaker. Ketchup or mustard?
It was, what is your most prized possession?
I would say ketchup.
Me too.
I mean, I can't go wrong with ketchup.
I wouldn't say that, but I'd say I'd go for ketchup over mustard. What's your most prized possession?
So, like, my most prized possession is like my guitars, and the reason why because I'm a singer-songwriter, and just like if I don't have my guitars, I mean, like, I probably wouldn't be like, I'd probably be more depressed.
What kind of music do you play?
So, so it's basically more of like Midwest emo, and I play more of like Midwest emo and grunge music.
You should post a link up in the chat.
I thought you would say country, to be honest.
I did not expect country for sure.
I did.
You listen to country music, Pookie?
Something about you gives me country.
What do
Especially
you
when
think I
said,
listen to?
when you said guitar, something made me think, okay.
What do you think I listen to?
I haven't been able to see your facial expressions to figure you out, I could say.
I'm smiling right now.
I can hear the smile.
So, like, do I put my music link on Apple Music or Spotify? Like, do you listen to Spotify or Apple Music?
Not yet. As of now, I listen to Pandora because I pay for it. Spotify is on my laptop, but it came with the laptop, so.
But it's Spotify.
Yeah, never been a big Spotify fan, but never really got into it. But I heard it's good for podcasts, so.
We can go listen to his stuff on it.
Yeah. Send me a link.
I got you. I'm about to send it right now.
I got something here. It says, I'm afraid to go outside more. I'm afraid to go outside more now than ever. I got the hiccups now than ever. My community used to be very peaceful. And this year and last year, we've seen more ice than ever. A lot of my neighbors aren't from here, as well as me and my parents. My neurologist is here, and if I get sent back to Mexico, I do not have a neurologist. What would you do? And does anyone else have any experience with having epilepsy and on the verge of being sent back to Mexico?
Anytime you're in a stressful situation at that point, it's an emergency. That's when, COVID lockdown first started, when we had to face the reality of we can only pay rent for another 2 months and things are going to change.
It also says, for context, I'm on lamotrigine and I'm not going to be able to last without taking my meds. I've went without lamotrigine for 72 hours. I mean, I don't suggest it, but I'm just saying. Um, and it was an accident. Yeah, lost my pill bottles one night. And then the pharmacy didn't have the pills all day, so I had to wait till the next day. And since I had to wait till the next day, my sister couldn't take me the next day. So I went the next day. And yeah, all that time I just sat in the house hoping a seizure doesn't come, smoking a bunch of weed and hoping that gets me by. But with being sent back to another state and your neurologist being here, I don't even have the words. I've never experienced anything or heard anything like this. I mean, yeah, you guys, I need your help on this one.
Well, like here's a few things I would probably say. I mean, like one, make sure you have a U.S. passport just in case that happens. I mean, I, I'm just the messenger on this one.
They also said they weren't a citizen of it, and a lot of people in their neighborhood. I have no idea what to tell anyone like this. I don't think I have the best advice. My advice would go hide, but I don't know how deportation is, and I don't know if they could search your house and look for you, or if they know you're there at all. But as to scared to going outside,
If you're married to a US citizen, that could be something that withholds deportation.
there's
No, that's
Not
not,
even that.
yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
not working lately.
from the explanation, I'm taking it as they live with their parents.
Well, what's their parents' citizen status? And are,
It says me nor my parents are citizens.
oh,
Okay, so at least you have somebody with you when deportation inevitably takes place.
If
Yes.
if I got scared. I can't even put I can't even explain the emotion when I got the letter that I had to prove my citizenship by birthright. I was literally terrified. So I don't know. I have no answers. I can feel the fear. I felt it it took me almost 2 months to get that straightened out. So I was terrified. I'm like, I mean, I know it was a family story, but I never thought it would come down to that, where I literally had to prove they had to find out where my mother was. Because if we were on the way to Canada, I would have been Canadian and I could have been deported. And I'm like, well, you're not going to deport me to El Salvador. I'm going to Canada, bro. I'm not. But really, what could, and I'm an American citizen and I had to prove my birthright citizenship. So I don't know who's next. And I'm afraid to say anything. Look what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. I'll shut up now.
Go ahead, Jeff.
When this whole thing started with deportations, I was in the desert, which probably 40 or 50% of the population are Mexican. And ICE didn't care if you were a citizen or not. If you were Mexican, you were deported.
sweep you up, ship you off.
Yep. People that were citizens that had jobs, that can pay taxes, that did everything the right way, were thrown out of the country. Some, they came back, but it's a waste of our money to round these people up and send them to the border, and then they just come right back over. They don't even stay in Mexico.
Right. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Yeah, like you said, they don't even care if if you're a citizen or not. They're not even really checking. But for that person to say that they're hiding in the house, you already have epilepsy. So now
You
you gotta
can't do
hide in the
that.
house and you're I changed pages, but I think they said they see ice in their neighborhood a lot. I think it might have said something like that. I was hoping you guys remember. Um, yeah, but to see ice in your neighborhood a lot lately, I could see why that would be bothersome, being that people are getting shipped out and not being able to come back. Um, but if you are watching this, they have this app um, for people who want to voluntarily get turned in or turn themselves in. And Donald Trump says there will be, what is it, financial. You can get financial compensation to willingly leave. It was a YouTube ad, so don't take my word for it.
And don't take Donald Trump's word for it.
I was thinking that they had the commercial or whatever with people like taking their kids and they're saying there's going to be financial compensation, and it's basically telling you if you don't, then you do get found, then you won't have anything. But there is an app, and you can call and get deported and get compensation. I have not downloaded the app because obviously, but yeah, if you need help, I think that could help.
So this was just 2 months ago. Illegal aliens, this is on the DHS Gov website. Illegal aliens who register for voluntary self-departure through CBP Home mobile app will receive cost-free travel, a $1,000 exit bonus to facilitate travel, and that's it.
You get USD, that's even better. But if they send you somewhere with
I mean, they put a dollar
cash,
sign, so I'm guessing.
oh, okay. Yeah.
If you believe they're going to give you the money rather than you register and they come deport you.
That's what I mean. Is that not a $1,000 promise for like reimbursement?
Or it's
That's what
entrapment.
it's not clear about.
Yeah. I was thinking that some people are going to do it and like go back and get the money, but you got to hope you're actually going to get the money. And if you do get the money, I wonder if that could help with paying for meds and all that stuff. I'm not sure, but that's a sticky situation.
Yeah, because that could be just enough to get you out of the country. And then what? I mean, you got to get set up somewhere else.
They're advertising this app as illegal aliens requesting assistance will have a timely departure arranged for them. That's a different way of putting it.
I would think that if there's a great deal of Mexicans in a community, that somebody would have developed an app to track where ISIS is and let people know when they're in their community.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's fathomable with all that's going on that this hasn't happened. And there's not an app in that Mexican community.
They probably pay somebody to look out for those and shut them down.
Because I know when I was on Nextdoor out there, somebody would always post ICE is on, Frank Sinatra Drive and Bob Hope Drive.
Are those like Facebook posts or something?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah, like
neighbor.
I remember there was a TikTok where a guy was sent back to Mexico, and then like he had all his rights and everything. I mean, like, and then he came back to the United States. I think it was like Las Vegas or something like that. There was a TikTok about it. So, just like I think yes, like I think honestly, like if he had like if you have your rights and everything else, and I think you could be okay. I don't know.
One says that's very unfortunate for you. If I were you, I'd come to Canada. I would never go back to Mexico. Another one says leave the States before they find you. That's not good. Leave the States before they find you. That's like what I said. Actually, if you go and they give you the cash and they actually give you the cash, then I don't know how good that is because I don't know how good Mexico is. I've never been or experienced anything.
I've been to Canada like one time.
Someone did suggest, go to Canada and I'd never go back to Mexico. I'm assuming they are a Mexican citizen. That's what they're saying. I'd never go back to Mexico. Or I don't know
First
how
thing that comes
Canada
to
is
mind
either.
is that, well, I love reading the comments from Canadians saying, being really critical of any other Canadian about spending their money in US evil. That's that's something I read yesterday on I think one of the weekend pages. And that just brought a smile because it was somebody complaining about how they uh, got some kind of problem with their tickets or didn't get to see the whole show or something like that. They said, well, that's what you get for spending your dollars in US evil. I think the reputation of the United States around the world is still pretty selfish and overpriced and things like that. So at this point, I know Mexico was not really an accurate experience for me because it was Cancun. So going to one little vacation place in middle school went well, but I think my father came back saying that I was offered liquor, and that was surprising. But that's back in the day, so you have to look out wherever you go. I would definitely try Canada over Mexico. And this CBP app is getting really bad reviews when it comes to the requirements to receive the $1,000. Users have expressed skepticism, the program's effectiveness and transparency. They said that they don't end up getting that $1,000 over technical issues and just a lack of response after self-deporting. So go ahead, you go through with it, meet all the requirements, and they ghost you. Or call it a technical technical glitch. So
That's messed
that's the
up.
reviews on that. Pretty much what you guys are saying.
Yeah, that is messed up. I wouldn't suggest getting the app. I know nothing about it. I just seen it on YouTube and that's
And if these technical issues are starting at the privacy policy, that's literally after you download the app, allow your location or whatever, and then you go to click the privacy policy and it's like, oops.
I'm gonna download it and see if they come get me. Oh man.
Don't you dare. We all
That would
depend
be
on you.
hilarious. I'm gonna be talking to you guys from
You better
to
keep
Florida.
you better keep sharing your location.
Or else if he has a car, I think you could probably go car camping, but you gotta be like safe for car camping.
Do immigrants have any rights? I'm not sure. They can just do that and don't care.
It
But
seems
yeah.
like what they always get stuck on is the rights of the country of what to do to them, like that non-citizens at the border face rapid removal, expedited removal, which is detention, a brief interview, and deportation, which is, the cut and dry, like clean, nice sounding way of putting it. But obviously we all know that's not what happens because during this this expedited process is when detention takes way too long and the conditions are not safe. Every time we hear the train going by with all those train cars, that's in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I thought they had the right to due process, just like everyone else. And they certainly didn't get it.
There's no due process for immigrants anymore.
Yeah. And I just read, while you guys were talking, I was just scanning through the news. And yeah. Now Trump just added a $100,000 fee for H-1B visas. And that's for highly skilled trades.
Right, I seen that. You gotta have a lot of money to come here now.
They're not going to come here now.
Yeah.
And when you read some of the other ones, it's because they want to build their own little Mesopotamia.
Well, keep in
It-
mind, we're already fucked when it comes to doctors.
Yeah.
And how many doctors and specialists do we have that are even, from here?
I'm waiting to hear that my
None for
doctor.
me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but your doctor isn't here any longer and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, don't tell me he went to Cuba, anywhere but the USA. I'm starting to feel it.
The world is really flipping around in 20 years, just how doctors are going to China now.
Our
China's becoming, this is so bizarre. Places like China and Saudi Arabia are becoming more open, and the Western countries have become more autocratic.
Yes.
What's up with that? Why
Oh.
is places like Britain and the US have become I've heard they're also cracking down on free speech in Europe. It's a
Well,
huge problem there as well. But yeah, but it's a total reverso, and it just I'm the uh, crackdown on education is a huge factor in democracy, and without that free flowing education, we're going to be set back, many years.
yeah, I think our government focuses on the negative and actually uses it as a pivot to destroy the people. It's just, I don't know. I'm like, what the heck is going on here now? And yeah,
Is anybody talking to their children with like an expectation of attending college anymore? Because we don't talk college without including in there those ideas of just learning a trade and doing one of those, going that route too.
yeah,
No, just like I've been wanting to learn to trade in 2025. So, just like there was like my mom's situation. Go back to college and get a degree. I told like, listen, that'll never work. The new president is here and it's kind of horrible right now. And, like this is and it's kind of the reason why that like I kind of left in the first place because like I went no contact with my whole family for a whole year because I thought that was the problem. And like so that's why I started to realize that you could learn from a trade.
And that student loan issue will keep you strapped down for even longer. That's definitely something that you can't ignore. Going back to college is going to require some kind of, they don't give grants and they give loans, but not grants anymore, especially if you're going back to college. The
Yeah.
number one strategy to go to college for free is enlist in the military.
Just like and just like and with the medications, that's kicked in, like you're
yeah, we
like
can't.
the whole body can't absorb that.
Yeah, people with epilepsy can't enlist in the military.
I won't tell them.
They'll find out.
Then I'll get an honorable discharge.
Maybe, maybe not. You could get
Hopefully.
charged with fraud, but
Yeah.
it depends on if it's a good day.
Oh, I remember those community college grants that they said you could go for free, but you could only be like one of two things. You couldn't even be like a vet
Oh,
or a
yeah.
doctor, go anything to that. You couldn't do a pre-med thing.
Yeah.
Community college programs that did offer free tuition. I want to say around here it was for nurses.
Yeah, like I did
That was
pre-med
it.
at Florida State. Yeah, I did pre-med by Florida State like a few years ago, and luckily I graduated, but I'll never do it again.
They
Yeah,
let
my
you do that tuition free,
Yeah,
and this is
yeah,
yeah,
after high school, not like dual enrollment.
Tuition free for a lot of reasons in California. I know I could from a disability. There's a lot of reasons you could. But yeah, they told me I could just because, got epilepsy. And you don't even need to have disability. Like, none of that. You can just be like, I have a disability. If you can prove it, you can go to school and get it paid for. Yeah. Also, if you, I think it's like spent so much time in the juvenile system, there's all kind of reasons you can just get money from here and go to college.
The cost of living on these articles, so states offering free college tuition programs with no income requirements. Top of the list is Arkansas. The median list price is like $296. This is an article written for home buyers. And compared to California, the next one on the list, the median list price there is $756,000 compared to 200 in Arkansas. So that's scary. Public community
But
colleges covers most of the cost of tuition up to 2 years. That's it though, up to 2 years.
yeah, by then, if you want something bigger than what you got, come back for another 2 years and find another place. I don't know.
well, yeah. That's how I was gonna do my nursing degree. I was working on my associates because there was a need for nurses. It was a hospital program. So it was cheap. Yeah, I still had tuition, but it was cheap. And I was gonna go from there, work while I was going to school, just like I already was, get my bachelor's, then my master's, and so on. And that's how a lot of people do that. I honestly, I don't know too many people who didn't in my circle that, you just graduate up you work your way through your degrees. You know what I mean? Um,
Some people are getting jobs after college.
yeah. And then, in that field, and then working that field and working on that next level of that degree. But man, I know my brain can't do that now. It certainly can't. When did
For
you
me,
share?
it's just thinking there's no promise of a job after. Is this degree going to be worth anything in another 4 years? You have no idea what the state of this country and this economy is going to be.
Oh, I know. And
Even
especially,
4 years away.
yeah, for all we know, robotics and AI will be taking over trades. But right now, trades are really hot because we just lost all of the people that were working in the factories. And guess what? Those Mexicans were trained, and the Americans are not. Whoops. So we got the whoops, and this has happened before. I've been around. I don't know. Where's Jeff? He knows. It's like this happens all the time. But now it's oh, whoops, we just sent the people away that we need. And now we're going to tell them that they have to give us $100,000 to come back. Wait a minute. I don't want to get political, guys. It's Friday. Let's have fun. All right.
Jeff agrees.
Cutting up now.
All right.
There's no room for debate anymore. And after like 10, 12, ever since he was picking on Obama and shit, it's all just toxic, I see no joy in, you know, just, shit talking, you know,
Yeah. I appreciate how you said that there's no longer room for debate. He's made it so obvious now that we all see it, and he's so malicious. But like you said, there's no room for debate. There's no room for argument. His behavior is quite obvious, quite toxic.
Here's a question. You think the left is malicious?
The left is, oh,
Ooh, I can.
Well,
Because I'm only throwing this out there as a debate because I've always voted Democrat since I was 18, and nobody wants to talk to each other. I saw something on Reddit, a list of neighborhoods in my city that are all Republican and to avoid. It says don't go near these neighborhoods because they are Republican. Avoid them.
I live in one.
I live
Ah,
in I live in I live in one too. You know, just like
I'm be on the corner. Yeah.
just like like if you live in North Florida, there is a bunch of Republicans, and they're a bunch of Republicans, especially the ones from Chattahoochee, Mariana, Gretna,
Oh yeah.
and and there's and also in southern Alabama because I worked for security because I used to work for security. I used to work for security, and like the southern states has more Republicans than I could ever think.
The question about the left, I it may be a skewed point of view, some may call it, but it's my point of view. Yes, there is definitely discrimination in the left. It's very, very weird. You aren't this enough. You aren't, or honestly, there's a very, okay, I'm going straight to my point. There is a huge rise in anti-Semitism in the left, and it is kind of scary as someone who has been a Democratic Jew all my life. My parents are Democratic Jews.
And I'm
And
Democratic, and it's upsetting to me.
yes.
I don't
Because
like seeing the
yeah.
divisiveness in this party. That is one thing that I think is different about. I think the Republicans are very united, and we are a divided party, and we can't get stuff to. I don't know if anyone's a Republican here, but
It doesn't change anything for us really here.
As my dad
and it-
says,
but-
I believe in the sanctity of the ballot box.
Oh yeah. I believe
doesn't.
in the
Oh, sorry.
sanctity of right and wrong, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. Back to what Kevin was asking. Do I think it's right or left? Unfortunately, I believe we've been groomed to think that. And that's all
Divide and conquer.
that's all I have to say. You're right. We were groomed to think exactly that. Is it the right? Is it the left? I'm Democrat. I'm here for all of us. I'm here for all of the people. All of my neighbors are Republican. I had a neighbor fall off his mower. He had the Trump flag going. He fell off the mower. I was outside. I looked both ways and ran across the street. And he's like, "What are you doing over here?" I'm like, "Dude, you just rolled your mower." And I'm like, "What do you mean? What am I doing over here? You fell." "I'm here." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're," and I heard all the jargon, "God, we just call you the hippie on the corner. We know you're this, we know you're that." And I'm like, "You know what? Fuck that. And let's get this mower back up." And that was it. Talk to you later. And that was it.
You're a badass.
all I believe in. And I really don't want to get into the political bullshit, but as a human being, that's what I am. And that's a Democrat to me. And if I'm wrong, correct me. But in this current administration, they want us to feel divided. However, that young man that they chose to be the suspect, his upbringing is clearly not leftist. So, yeah, I don't know.
I don't think that matters. I think we have to stop doing that whenever there's a shooting.
Yeah, and that rebel, that teenage, I get it. Yeah, yeah.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.